Short disclaimer, there are parts of this podcast that do mention death, murder, decapitation, suicide, things like that. If that bothers you, don't listen to the episode. Or if it gets to be too much, please click off the episode. Otherwise, enjoy.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome back to the new episode of Tea Party with Ghost. I'm Ghost.
I'm Ash.
And happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween.
If you don't know, it's definitely my most favorite holiday.
Yeah.
Fuck Christmas.
For sure. Oh, God. Okay.
Well, you know I have to get plastered to deal with my family during the holidays.
Yeah, you know. Family's great.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. Okay, so
Hey, so we're both drinking Lady Grey tea.
today's sort of a special episode. It's a bonus episode for spoopy time.
Yeah. Best time of the year.
Yeah. So
you're stuck listening to both of us today.
yeah.
And possibly the dogs.
There's always a possibility of the dogs. So.
And maybe Alice.
And maybe Alice the cat.
The void cat.
Mm-hmm. So I guess you want me to go first?
Sure.
Okay, I'll go first. So, what I have to talk about today in honor of Halloween is haunted paintings.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I've heard a couple of podcasts that covered haunted paintings.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was really cool. I was looking through stuff and I was like, okay. So, first up is the portrait of Bernardo de Galvez, I guess.
And if you haven't figured out, we're from Alabama and we don't know how to pronounce shit. So,
yeah,
we're sorry because we will offend everybody with our pronunciations.
I'm trying. So, the painting of the Spanish general Bernardo de Galvez at the end of a hallway in Hotel Galvez in Galveston, Texas, is said to have supernatural influence over photographs taking of it. Some claim to see a skull in flash photography of the painting, and according to local folklore, visitors must politely ask permission of the ghost to take a picture of the portrait, or else the photo will be ruined upon development.
So, in a similar manner, have you heard of Robert the Doll?
Yes.
Okay, so you have to ask permission from him to take photos of him.
Is Robert the one...
It's in Key West, Florida, in a museum, and I really want to go see him.
Yeah, was he the one that,
in a sailor's outfit?
Maybe I'm thinking of a different one. Because this one was the doll of a ventriloquist. And everyone thought he was made of a real human.
A real child.
Yeah. I can't remember his name. Okay.
No, that's not Robert.
I do know who you're talking about. I listened to a podcast about him, I think.
Yeah, so with Robert, you have to ask permission to take photos of him, because if you don't, he'll send a curse on you, and there's actually been people who have came and apologized to him, and then their bad luck or misfortune goes away.
Man, maybe I should have just done my part on Robert the Doll. I forgot about him.
Yeah.
Whoops.
No, that's okay. I like hearing about this stuff, so...
Yeah.
I like hearing about anything spooky, you know that.
Yeah. So, next one I've got is the portrait of Henrietta Nelson.
That name sounds familiar.
Henrietta Nelson died by falling down a flight of stairs in her home at Yaxley Hall in the English town of Eye, and was buried in a mausoleum on the property, according to her wishes. However, years later, new owners moved in and destroyed the mausoleum, moving her remains to a nearby church. According to legend, Nelson has haunted the grounds ever since, trying to return home to her desired resting place. As she should. A portrait of Nelson by William Johnson has purportedly become imbued with her spirit, with her ghost following it even when moved out of the house. Viewers have reported her face in the painting changing shape, and a pale figure with identical clothing walking the grounds. And I will be putting pictures on our Instagram of some of these. So the next one is called Man Proposes, God Disposes.
That sounds like a
That's
good
a
idea.
title. So Edwin Landseer's 1864 painting, Man Proposes, God Disposes, believed to be haunted and a bad omen. According to urban myth, a student of Royal Holloway College once committed suicide during exams by stabbing a pencil into their eye, writing, "The polar bears made me do it," on their exam paper.
Oh, I've heard of this.
That's wild. There is, however, no university record of a death in the picture gallery. Another legend among students dating back to at least the 1960s is that anyone sitting in front of the painting during an exam will fail it. This has led teachers to covering the painting with a Union Jack when student examinations are ongoing. What is a Union Jack? Oh, it's a flag. It's a Union flag.
Okay, so History for Weirdos just did this one.
I think I remember that, actually, yeah.
Yeah. Andrew did it.
Yeah. All right, the next one is Minovia.
Minovia.
Minovia?
Yeah, Minovia.
Legend says this undated portrait by Juan Luna, also known as Portrait of a Lady, is of the artist's wife.
Paz Pardo de Tavera.
Thank you. Who Juan Luna murdered.
Oh.
Okay. According to the legend, the painting is now possessed by the spirit of Paz, who brings misfortune upon its owners. Past owners have died in car crashes, been forced into bankruptcy, and experienced miscarriage, among other reported sorrows. During the opening night of a 1987 exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the spotlight bulb over the painting exploded. The woman depicted in the painting is believed to be Angela Duché, a favorite model of the painter who was neither married to nor murdered by him. Next one, Death and the Child. According to urban legend, a particular 1899 copy of Edvard Munch's painting Death and the Child, sometimes known as Dead Mother, is cursed. Viewers have described the horrified girl's eyes following them as they move and hearing a soft rustling sound, usually attributed to the eponymous mother's bedsheets, when near the painting. Previous owners of the painting are said to have described the girl disappearing altogether from the canvas. Munch's mother and sister died of tuberculosis when he was a child, and memories of that trauma were a recurring motif through his work. Munch was also influenced by the nihilist Hans Jaeger, who urged him to paint his own emotional and psychological state, described as soul painting, leading to his distinctive style. The paintings of Arshile Gorky. The paintings of Arshile Gorky, created between 1904 and 1938, are rumored to be cursed, with paintings reportedly falling from walls, catching on fire, and being visited by a black-haired ghost in a blue overcoat. On March 1st, 1962, American Airlines Flight 1, carrying 87 passengers, 8 crew members, and 15 abstract paintings by Gorky, crashed into a swamp 2 minutes after takeoff, killing everyone on board and destroying the paintings. According to Anthony Hulslag, a researcher studying the aftermath of the Armenian genocide, the painter's work has come to symbolize everything we lost for many Armenian survivors, as well as offering identity and a source of strength. So the next one is The Crying Boy. Prints of The Crying Boy by 20th century painter Giovanni Bragolin were blamed for a series of house fires in the 1980s after prints were found undamaged amidst the ruins of multiple burned houses. Research at the Building Research Establishment concluded that the prints had been treated with a varnish containing fire retardant, and that the string holding the painting to the wall would be the first to deteriorate, resulting in the painting landing face down on the floor and thus being protected.
I was gonna mention that whenever you got to those. Because it was a big mystery that they couldn't figure out why those paintings were not burnt. Mm-hmm. And they finally figured out that the reason, is because of the varnish that they used on it.
That would make a lot of sense.
But they thought that they were, like, cursed or possessed or something to that effect. You know how people are. Want to blame everything on witchcraft and Satan.
I feel like stuff in the 1980s weren't as developed either. Like, as far as, like...
When you also had Satanic Panic.
In the 80s?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, Satanic Panic was in the 80s.
So the next one is The Hands Resist Him. Characters in Bill Stoneham's 1972 painting The Hands Resist Him are said to move or leave the painting during the night. It is on display at the Perception Gallery in Grand Rapids, Michigan, if anyone wants to go look at them.
Sure. Sounds like a fun time.
Sure. So the next one is Love Letters. Richard King's painting Love Letters, painted circa 1990, is said to be haunted by Samantha Houston, a 4-year-old girl who fell to her death in the Driscoll Hotel in Austin, Texas, where the painting hangs. As a result, the expression of the girl in the painting is said to change whenever one looks away. Guests have also reported dizziness, nausea, and feeling like they are floating or falling while viewing the painting. The painting is a replica of an original painting by the same name by Charles Trevor Garland. Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Ooh, the next one.
The next one is Pogo the Clown, a signed 1990s self-portrait by the serial killer John Wayne Gacy depicting his alter ego, Pogo the Clown.
Dun, dun, dun.
Musician Nikki Stone purchased the painting for $3,000 in 2001, but began to regret the purchase when his dog died and his mother got cancer, which he attributed to the malicious influence of the painting. A friend offered to keep the painting, and soon after, the friend's neighbor was killed in a car crash. A second friend then took it for storage and later attempted suicide. The painting was never hung up and was given to a local art dealer.
You know, when we went to the Museum of Death in New Orleans, we got to see some of his drawings and stuff.
I mean, like, I can see where, like, a bunch of misfortunes would come about something that was made by someone so evil because of the energy that's surrounding it. Alright, so the next one is the Stagecraft, also known as the Hanging Man. This painting is claimed to be responsible for a series of unexplained and dangerous incidents. The painting is based on a photo taken by James Kidd in 1994. So the next one is the Rain Woman. For 6 months prior to the creation of the painting in 1996, the artist Svetlana Telets, so sorry for that pronunciation, felt like she was being constantly watched. One day she was sitting in front of a blank canvas when a clear vision of the final painting appeared to her. Feeling like someone was controlling her hand, she sketched the composition for 5 hours, then spent another month refining the details. After displaying it in a local art salon, multiple people successfully bought the painting, only to return it to the seller after describing a figure following them in their homes and dreams. That's not creepy at all.
Freddy Krueger?
One temporary owner described white eyes appearing everywhere he looked and returned the painting with an offer to pay back half the purchase price, fearing he might drown in the eyes if kept for any longer. Sergei Skotchkov? In 2008, though reportedly his wife later hid the painting after seeing a ghostly figure walked around their apartment at night. According to archpriest Vitaly Goloskevich, priest of the Transfiguration Cathedral in...
Some word that we can't pronounce. We apologize.
Anyways, a person has a spirit and a soul. There are truly spiritual works of art, and there are soulful ones, and the painting you are talking about represents just such soulful art, and it doesn't come from God. The artist puts into the work the mood in which he was at the time of his writing, and it is not known who led the artist at that moment. Okay, so the last one I got is The Anguished Man. The Anguished Man is a painting by an unknown artist. In 2010, owner Sean Robinson uploaded a YouTube video which included a text description of how he had strange noises and crying and seen the figure of a man appear. Guests reportedly had nosebleeds and experienced extreme nausea while looking at the painting. So that's all I had, and my one and only source was Wikipedia, although I did cross-reference and make sure that I wasn't just about to spew a bunch of bullshit. So, what you got for us, my dude?
Alright, so my topic today for you comes from Canada.
Ooh.
And it's called Valley of the Headless Men. So, we shall dive right in. The Northwestern Territories of Canada are truly one of Earth's last true wild places. One of its special national park reserves, called the Nahanni Valley, is, however, a little bit wilder than most. It is home to some strange myths and mysteries and boasts a fearsome reputation for being a haunted and deadly place. This remote wild valley is not just inhospitable due to its rugged terrain, extreme weather, and predators, but it is also deadly due to unexplained circumstances. Over the decades, many unfortunate travelers and explorers have gone missing, or they've turned up dead and beheaded. Hence, Valley of the Headless Men. The number of decapitated bodies found within Nahanni Valley have earned it the nickname Valley of the Headless Men. So, what is the explanation to this mystery? Many have said that the Nahanni Valley is one of the last truly unexplored places in the world. Situated within the rugged Northwest Territories of Canada, well over 500 kilometers, or for, us in the U.S., 311 miles.
Dang.
From the nearest city, Yellowknife. It is one of those nature's nooks that preserved in spite of mankind's busy expansion. Reaching Nahanni can be a challenge if ever you find a reason to journey inside it. It is hard to reach, and its best routes are via air, water, or long overland journey from the abandoned village of Tungsten. The valley is situated above the 60th parallel north, which puts it in line with the rest of Canada's wild territories. Cities and civilization up north are few and far between, and surviving the wilderness can be challenging, or even fatal in the inexperienced traveler. Thanks to its remarkable natural beauty, its unique geography, its features and wealth of flora and fauna, Nahanni Valley has been proclaimed a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1978. In fact, it is one of the first 4 natural heritage locations to be given this status. But this lofty proclamation has not given it a flurry of visitors.
I wonder why.
Due to its remoteness, Nahanni Valley has remained largely untouched over the centuries, home to many diverse animal species, many of which are predatory. Large grizzly bears and timber wolves are the chief carnivores here, and people are seldom seen in this nature. Historically, the lands around the Nahanni Valley were home to the peoples of the Dene? It's D-E-N-E. And I apologize. So I'm just going to say indigenous tribes who dwelt here for many centuries. However, it seems that they never lived exactly along the Nahanni River and its tributaries, from which the Nahanni Valley gets its name. Their oral histories, passed down through generations, speak of another tribe living here, the one called Naha. The Den tell that the Naha were a warlike tribe living in the high mountains and descending into the lowlands to raid and kill. They became the main foes of the Den peoples and were greatly feared by them. The name Nahanni itself is of Den origin, which means the river of the land of the Naha people. These oral histories and the name itself are very important, as they are certain proof that a different indigenous tribe once dwelt here. However, the Den state that the Naha people simply vanished at one time, ceasing their raids and disappearing altogether. Mystery surrounds these so-called Naha, but no trace of them has ever been found. So far, they are only found in stories. Could they have migrated elsewhere, succumbed to disease, died out, or they simply stayed in the Nahanni River Valley to this day, hiding in plain sight? Some speculate it might be so. This mystery would likely have died out quickly, being dubbed just another legendary story of an indigenous tribe. But several eerie deaths and disappearances within Nahanni Valley achieved the opposite result. The mysteries surrounding this place were only fueled further, and Nahanni became the focus of many mystery hunters. And most of this focus was on a special place within the valley, one called the 200-Mile Gorge. The Den natives speak of an unknown evil dwelling here, and few ever enter it, especially because of the events that transpired there. For it's the 200-Mile Gorge that gained the grisly epithet of the Valley of the Headless Men. The origins of this eerie nickname can be traced to the early 20th century at the time of the famous Klondike Gold Rush. At this time, many would-be prospectors wanted to test their fortunes and head out to the remote Canadian wilderness, especially Yukon. It was known to contain gold in its rivers and soils, and a treasure could be quickly made by those lucky enough to strike gold. Two of these prospectors decided to forego the traditional routes and locations leading to Yukon and to instead try their luck in the Nahanni Valley. They were two brothers of Metis ancestry, Willie and Frank McLeod. In 1906, they canoed upriver to reach the Nahanni Valley, and that was the last time anyone saw them alive. In 1908, 2 years later, a search party discovered their skeletons at the remains of a camp. Both were headless, which I would assume so because Valley of the Headless Man.
Well, yeah, you know.
Seemingly, they were asleep when they were attacked. The body of one of the brothers lay reaching out towards a gun, indicating a need for defense. A third man, their companion, surnamed Wire, was missing. From here on, the mysteries deepened. Who would decapitate so ruthlessly two peaceful prospectors? And what happened to their heads? Rumors began spreading, and many wild theories were put forward. Some spoke of feuding prospectors killing one another. Others attributed their deaths to wild animals, while some spoke of inhospitable warlike natives leaving the headless corpses as a warning to other trespassers. Theories floated about until another corpse was discovered in 1917. It was that of a Swiss prospector named Martin Jorgensen. His body was discovered decapitated next to the remains of his cabin. It was burned to the ground. It is supposed that he struck gold in the vicinity as he wrote of it back home before ending up beheaded. An article from the February 15th, 1947 issue of the Desert News newspaper titled Headless Valley Myths Dispelled goes in depth while trying to bash all the mystery and find logic for the murders. Much of the article's contents are unsubstantiated and mere guesswork. There, it is said that Jorgensen and the McLeod brothers were all murdered for the gold that they had discovered. No evidence for this was ever found. In 1927, another body was discovered in Nahanni, belonging to a man nicknamed Yukon Fisher. Variously dubbed an outlaw and a prospector, this man was sought by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police for several years before his death. The officials found his skeleton on the banks of Bennett Creek, quite close to the place where the bodies of the McLeod brothers were found in 1908. His death was never fully explained, nor was the fact that he was known to possess a solid number of gold nuggets with which he purchased goods on the frontier. Then in 1931, another body was found. This time it was that of Phil Powers. His charred remains were discovered in the ashes of what was his cabin. The RCMP were quick to attribute his death to a faulty stovepipe, but their explanation was repeatedly debunked by various sources. Phil Powers, for what it's worth, was likely murdered and his cabin set ablaze. Many others simply disappeared without a trace in the remote wilderness of the Nahanni Valley. In 1928, one prospector named Angus Hall ventured ahead of his party and was never seen again. Another pair of prospectors, Joe Mulholland and Bill Epire, disappeared in 1936. For many years, they were searched for but never found. The only thing discovered was their cabin burned down to the ground. A woman named Annie Lafert also went missing in the Nahanni in 1926 with her hunting part. She was present in the valley near Flat River, but got lost in the wilderness and disappeared. Many months later, an indigenous person by the name of Big Charlie claimed to have seen the woman climbing a hill while totally naked, seemingly have lost her mind. She became just another of the many victims of the wild Nahanni Valley. So inhospitable was the Nahanni Valley that Even in the 1920s, it was still unexplored. Maps of the region showed almost nothing except two flat lines that indicated the two main rivers, Nahanni and Flat. It would take decades for an accurate map to be created. Of course, over the years, many sources tried to discredit the mysteries. To that end, some claim that the original headless corpses, the McLeod brothers, were not really headless, but in fact were identified by the remnants of the hair on their skulls. However, there is no evidence for either of those theories. Much of this can be attributed to the advanced age of the event in 1908. But discrediting or not, deaths continued to pile up in the Nahanni Valley. In 1945, a miner from Ontario, whose name is now lost, was found dead, still in his sleeping bag. His head, however, was never found. Around that time, another trapper succumbed to the inhospitable wilderness. His name was John O'Brien, and was found frozen next to his campfire, his rigid hand still clutching a match. His death was clearly due to freezing. And it is true, in winter, the Nahanni Valley really is inhospitable. With the freezing cold and the ravaging timber wolves, this nature can claim the lives of the most experienced outdoorsmen. But in the warmer months, this valley transformed into a truly unique environment. So much so that many dubbed it tropical. It can turn into a true oasis, being warmed and lush with vegetation. One could even bathe in the creeks and streams, fearing no coldness. And that's all due to the hot sulfur springs that can be found here. Hot springs lie all beneath the valley and give it an additional dose of mystery. The sulfur can often fill the air with an odd smell. And more than that, the combination of the hot sulfury air and the cooler Arctic air above it created thick and mysterious mists that often cover the entire Nahanni Valley, obscuring it from view and creating an eerie, otherworldly ambience. This gave rise to tales of the mysterious tropical valley that exists somewhere within the huge Nahanni Valley. While there is a chance that the clash of the hot sulfuric air and the cold Arctic climate can create a unique environment, a tropical valley still seems far-fetched. Nevertheless, legends just kept mounting up. Scientists, those few that ever set foot in the valley, discovered numerous remains of prehistoric animals, bones of mastodons or mammoths, whichever you want to call them, and ancient bear dogs. To that end, many have said that these animals still live within the deepest, most remote nooks of the Nahanni. Tales exist of trappers seeing fresh tracks of prehistoric animals and bringing back huge ivory tusks with flesh and hair still visible. Other tales state that many of the Den tribe elders living in the area were able to accurately draw pictures of mastodons, as if from memory. Another prevalent story tells of the prehistoric bear dogs still roaming the valley. In the end, no one can accurately say what transpiring within the mysterious Nahanni Valley. Up to 44 persons have either died or disappeared within it starting from 1908, and that is an eerily high number for just one enormous valley. Plenty of odd facts contribute to the prevalent sense of enigma here. The indigenous Den locals have avoided the valley for centuries, claiming it is haunted by evil. Others state that the Nahanni Valley is the entrance to the so-called Hollow Earth. The valley is dotted with subterranean caverns, about 250 of them, and many remain unexplored. However, we are quite sure that the Earth's belly is rather hot. Nevertheless, Nahanni remains veiled in enigma. Perhaps it was the territorial Naha tribesmen who have not disappeared, but who have claimed all those lives seeking to protect their last natural refuge. Or it was simply the harsh and inhospitable wilderness of remote Canada that claimed those lives.
But that doesn't just
I know.
the heads.
Yeah, I know.
Anyway.
But that's what the next sentence is. Okay. It says, still, harsh nature cannot behead bodies and burn down cabins, and for that, the mystery remains. I think possibly people trespassing, and then they got what they got.
I mean, it's okay. So
one of those that fuck around and find out is what people are saying now.
I mean, it could very well be that there is an indigenous tribe that still lives there. I mean, there's evidence of others across the world
Yeah, definitely.
that are completely cut off from humanity. Or not. Well, yeah.
I mean, just like the one that I mentioned in, what was it, the first episode?
Yeah.
That I believe was in South America, the tribe that has had no contact with the outside world, and that guy went and tried to preach about Jesus to them, and he found out when they killed him.
Yeah.
Do not come trespass here.
But, I mean, that is a very logical explanation. Or it could be a Yeti.
Bigfoot.
Well, Yeti is different than Bigfoot.
I know, the abominable snowman as well.
But no, it's very... It could very much be an indigenous tribe that lives out there.
Yeah.
And, you trespass on their land, and you get what you get.
Yeah.
So.
Too bad that didn't happen with Columbus. Because then we would not be here in this hellscape of Alabama. But, yeah, that is our tales for today. And if you have a theory of why people got decapitated, or if you know of any haunted paintings,
Or sculptures, or dolls, or anything like that.
yeah, anything haunted.
Yeah.
Hell, it could be like Christine the car. I like weird and spooky shit, so. And today is our day of Halloween.
Yeet.
Or if you would like a cursed dog, aka Ellie, let us know.
You can have her.
We will send her to you. She likes to use you as a chew toy. But yeah, if you would like to get in touch with us, let us know. Our Instagram is at teapartywithghost. Our email is teapartywithghosts@gmail.com.
Everything will be linked in the description as per usual.
That's what I was about to say.
Via our link tree.
Yeah. So, send us pictures of your dogs and cats and other weird animals. We like them all. But yeah, hope you guys have a safe and spooky Halloween.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Bye.